We continue our team coverage. Now let's bring in Lacey Crisp. Lacey, tell us where you are. Last time you were in New Lexington. Looks like there's a lot going on behind you right now.
Yeah, we're right at the intersection of 13 and 37. Now, rescue crews have had this whole area shut down for quite a few hours. You can see they actually just launched 2 boats into the water. It's very deep in that area. Now, the good news is it does look like it's receding a little bit, but crews are kind of taking a look down these roads just to see if there's anyone who needs to be rescued. There is a spa here to our right. There was a woman here who was very concerned about getting out, so they helped her out of this area. Now, we have seen several trucks try to drive through this area, and at one point in time this morning there was a truck that drove through this area, and at the very end of that road, the water was up to the top of the door right by the window as he was driving through. Now, he did make it all the way through without rescue crews having to help him. But obviously, they are trying to tell everyone, you need to stay away from this area. Do not go through this water. Now, I can tell you just about 6 o'clock this morning, this whole area lost power. AEP tells us they have about 1,000 customers in this area that are without power. Now, there are several fire departments from the area that have come to the New Lexington area to do water rescue searches to make sure there's no one that needs help, because this area received about 4 inches of rain overnight. And as you know from the last week, it's already very soggy and saturated in this area. So when you get 4 more inches into that area, that's what happens right here when you have intersections like this that are completely flooded out. Now, as I said, this water is starting to recede a little bit, but you've got to really be careful. ODOT had a truck up. They had a brush on it trying to sweep out some of the debris and try to get some of the water off the roadways. But it's really best just to avoid all of these areas, as a lot of these roads that are already saturated have been completely flooded out. Kristen?
Lacey, and I know you mentioned this earlier, kind of walk us through. So you said that some of those residents who were flooded out earlier in the week were sent here, and now these conditions are like this. Can you kind of explain that for us?
Yeah, so some of the residents who were displaced from the Crooksville area were actually sent to the fairgrounds here. When I talked to the EMA director about 6:15 this morning, she told me there were still about 20 of those residents who were still at the fairgrounds. Well, the fairgrounds flooded out last night, so there were emergency crews that went there to make sure they were okay. But as of about 6:30, 6:45, she told me those waters were starting to recede. And so she didn't have an exact count of how many people were there from the overnight hours, but that's obviously a concern. People who've been displaced being displaced again. You know, a lot of people in this area are just kind of saying enough already.
Definitely. Well, thank you. That's Lacey Crisp reporting live in New Lexington for us this morning.